First off, I would like to apologize for being off code to my boys and not selecting a better quality of female, and I take full responsibility for not planning as I should have regarding their future, because it is their future that matters the most. Welcome to Rasta's Realities, a channel for logics, intellects, and those seeking solutions. I am your host, Rasta Kilbomani, and my reality is your reality. Like, subscribe, and share. Comment down below if anything speaks to you. Let's go. In some parents' minds, there is such a thing as successful co-parenting. I know this because I was under the same impression and thought that I pulled it off, as both of my boys are in their teens. But I was wrong. Damn near dead wrong. Yeah, they had a few snags here and there, and ultimately they were doing fine, and who doesn't when it comes to life? It wasn't until my last born was doped up, getting higher than he's ever been, missing parts of his organs, plastic tubes shoved down his throat, keeping him alive due to some shit brain poop butt looking to add to society's nonsense and to take his life for some mundane and unimportant reason. My son's nickname is now Tupac, as both took 9 bullets and lived. The reason that there's no such thing, such as a successful co-parent, is that the child doesn't get a clear and correct view of what it means to be in a relationship. And especially nowadays, with one or both sides having some sort of bitterness or resentment towards the other person that at one time loved and or really liked, etc. As an example of what I'm referring to is when one of my boys would visit, he would not want to go back to where he stayed or lived. And he was very vocal about it. Now, I'm thinking the hardest part of parenting is done. You know, from the womb to the early teens for the mom. And I'm not saying that parenting is not lifelong. I'm saying that there are times where the mother is more adapted to, what's the word I'm looking for? She's more adapted to being more effective at that particular point of the child's life. And then there comes a time when the father is more important than the other. That's not to say that the other's not important. I'm not stating that. So at this point, it's where it pays to be a man, as he's experienced enough to reach and teach a young male. Even with that universally known fact, it became difficult to convince the mom to allow the child to change residence in the best interest of the child and where he was and what he needs. Meaning, you've done a good job, now take a step back and I'll take over from here. But unfortunately, I couldn't figure out why she would say no. And then it became apparent. It was for money reasons, fiduciary reasons. If she was to do that, then there's no more child support. Then there's no more governmental or state benefits that she will be receiving. Thus, meaning she got to get off her ass and work for a living. And work hard for a living like the rest of us. But I digress. As I stated, it was confusing why she would veto a common sense logistic move. See, most all fall in love with child support checks. And what they think is free benefits, it is not. We have to get out of this mindset of free this and free that. There is nothing free. There's a cost for everything. For example, I would ask my employees that I manage a question of, is it free to breathe? And mostly all of them said yes. And I asked them to explain why it is free to breathe. And according to them, you just inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. At this point, I explained to them that in order to inhale and exhale, you need a set of lungs. You need blood to circulate throughout those set of lungs. You need mucus and areoles and nerves and muscles for the breathing to work. A heart, a brain for the breathing to work. So nothing is free. There's a cost for everything. The mom, the system, feel that if the man isn't in the household, that he should pay, no matter what. And that, my friends, is a huge reason of families being divided. The man just wants to be instrumental in the child's life, but the female wants in any and all ways, whether or not she deserves it or not, checks with no balances. In addition to that, thought culture, lack of accountability is ruining some woman. It's also ruining people, period. In a previous video that I did, it was mentioned that society loves dysfunction as it provides constant revenue, and we all know America's debt is irreparable, meaning it cannot be repaired. We are so indebted to others that we're doing any and everything to make a dollar. Then America allows its well-off but foolish people to conduct its business. Check America's credit to find out the results of that nonsense. Now you're saying to yourself, or the screen, Rasta, what does America has to do with the title of co-parent? No such thing as co-parenting. Well, that's an easy one. Check your social media outlets. What behavior is witnessed from the supposedly moms? Dads, we're not off the hook either. Again, in the previous video, I mentioned that the lack of accountability on the parents' part leads them to repeatedly do dumb shit. I mean, come on now. Just because a thief doesn't get caught the first time doesn't mean to keep stealing. The same goes for childbirth. Just because we can have little ones doesn't mean that we should, especially without proper planning. Sometimes we wing it because we did not bring it. And it that I'm referring to is that common sense and that planning that I mentioned before. There are some facts that I took offense to, statistically speaking, and the fact that statistics say middle class to poor people outbred everyone else. And that was revealing. So I took a step back to not be emotional, to not be emotional and to be more logical. And to really process what I heard, and after doing some research and found that the numbers were tremendous, I fell sick to my stomach, knowing that I added to the statistics. Now, this isn't Rasta saying that I regret having my children. This is Rasta saying I could have done and been so much better. Bad relationships, or even good ones, warp the minds of our kids as far as co-parenting. And I'm not expecting you to believe what I'm saying, because it's my truth. And rarely do other people believe your truth, as it is your truth. When relationships go wrong on either or both sides, the child ultimately is harmed. The emotional mind state of the child is what's important. In the description is some source material linking to some videos of one Coach Greg Adams. Salute to you, sir, for the information and work that you have done to date. He as I reach and teach from our experiences, which are facts, not opinions or popular beliefs. The video he recently did was about a child dying from cancer after getting diagnosed a month earlier, I believe it was, and come to find out the story is somewhat viral with mixed reviews. The issue is that though the family were operating dysfunctionally in life, they still could not get it together in death. Meaning the mom, not mother, banned the father from the funeral using the system, stating that the now deceased child didn't want anything to do with the father. Really? The child is dead. That's his child as well. Whether you can get along with him or not is irrelevant. Like, wow. So to put this into a deeper perspective, this man could not bid his child a proper farewell due to woman's foolishness. I say the mom's foolishness because both of your child is dead. You, the mother, you, the father, the child is dead. And you're still super petty, wallowing in loser mentality? 100% wrong. Fuck's wrong with her? The link's in the description. I instantly wept as I was reading the story, thinking about the smell, the sight of death, and the possibility of death of my second-born son due to a failure to co-parent. On top of the fact that I was a teen who watched my immediately family die off during my teens, what seemed like week after week or month after month. They were that close. As I mentioned in a recent video that my insight allowed me to see some negative things regarding my second-born, and I proposed that he come live with me, as it was time to get to the nitty-gritty of being successful when it comes to being an ebony man. I learned to navigate throughout this society's nonsense and wanted to give my second-born son Darius the game, of which his mom's lack of understanding of a common sense type of situation may have led him being where he wasn't supposed to be. In closing, what I'm saying is the idle mind is the playground of spirits of the evil. And it is true. Again, I speak from experience of being right where my sons were. There are no shortcuts in parenting, and using the system that oppresses us all to harm another who has the same struggle is some dirty shit. You just like I made a bad choice in having children without a plan. How is the punishment only dished to the man and or the child that you supposedly love? When you love someone, you make difficult calls, even if it doesn't serve us directly. Had a chick recently in a conversation try to insinuate that I failed as a parent. And then in the same conversation stated that her parents raised her kids, and you would not believe the reasoning behind it. But here goes. She said, and I quote, "It's because I work too much." So let me get this straight. You say my parenting sucks, but you did not have your own kids that you and some dude had all the fun creating, but your parents raised them. Fuck out of here with that bullshit that you just spat out. Yeah, some grandparents don't mind taking control of the grandkids as it helps them feel needed, and I'm cool with that. That's not my gripe. My gripe is others seeking and getting assistance in the same area that you stated that I failed at. I was comfortable saying it pridefully. Or should I say, foolishly. I'll say it again. There's no such thing as successful co-parenting. It was true in the more traditional times, and it is true now. A child needs both to be there, not bitter for failed relationships or seeking to pose harm to the other parent, as the child, like animals, sense bullshit from vibrations and will act out accordingly. To ensure their future, we must rectify our past. I appreciate the love and support by you being here on this weekly series of the Friday's Foods. When you could be any place in the atmosphere. For the new viewers, provide a subscription to get alerts to new videos. And if you got anything from the content, comment, tap that like button. It helps generate these videos to the suggested section here on YouTube. There are others that need this work that I got. There are others that need to hear your voice. For my regulars, tune in every week for the Friday's Food series, and often for new video drops. All supporting links, contact information, as well as any supporting articles are in the description below. Let's make a better you and me while making history. I am